都也会跟分的。
It's okay, we can just, for the rest of it, we can trust you. I mean, you're here.
จะผมเอาไปคุยด้วย
going to wait a few more minutes. I guess 1.5 hours is not long enough for lunch. So hopefully some more people will filter in and then we'll start. We'll have the panelists sitting up here. So Professor Nicola Kasabov will be one of the panelists, and then we have 4 others, actually 5 others. The IBM speaker is kind enough to actually join us as industrial panelists as well. So it's a preview of what's going to talk about perhaps after this session. So we'll have 6 of us sitting up here. And what I'm doing here is just basically showing you a preview. Some of you may recognize this, may have seen this before. It's actually currently playing on Netflix. It's a documentary about AlphaGo. Anybody do not know what AlphaGo is? I think everybody here would know something about AlphaGo, right? But how much detail do you know how AlphaGo is able to beat world-class Go players? So this is very interesting because it's not just computers on its own that can actually defeat a world-class Go player. If you watch the documentary in more detail following it, it's like different stages. We have people developing machine learning techniques able to learn, and they learn from that, but it's like elementary level of playing Go, playing chess, and so on. And then they would have more advanced players playing to teach the computer how to play, some of the moves, and so on and so forth. So they actually improve, but the improvement of the computer would be exponential very quickly. So that's how AlphaGo actually, one of the main reasons why we can beat a highest level, basically Go player, the world champion in AlphaGo in a very short time. They actually improved tremendously over a very short time period of time. So if you have Netflix, some of you are subscribing to it, or we won't have time to play the whole thing, but basically you can see this Hughes here, the European champion. He helped to train AlphaGo. Without his help, AlphaGo most likely won't even win a single game against Lisa. But with his help, computer, machine, plus human. So that's basically, this is the next platform moving towards. It's not just a machine, it's not just human, it's augmented ability. So before we officially start, I'm going to ask staff to pass out some pieces of paper. So what we want to know is from the audience as well, what areas of AI or brain-like learning systems you're interested in or you'd like to learn more about, you're involved in. So we want to get some of your questions to the panelists, and then if you can write it in Thai or write it in English, someone will translate it for you. So we want to get a cross-section to see your interests, so we can also offer something to help with your research and potentially establish, the whole idea is also to establish collaboration. So between all of us, and of course with industry involved with IBM helping and others as well. Okay, so if you'd like to have a piece of paper, you want to have something to contribute, you can, staff will come around, you can put your hand up, and you can just write something down. So we'll have an idea. So we'll have something prepared for you, we'll talk something in general, and specific to the theme, but something more specific, you can actually inform us, so we can also put that to discussion, okay? So somebody's with paper around, and if you, like I said, they're walking around now. Okay, so should I get everyone sitting up here now? Okay, lady, please, come on up. Suyang? Yes, you find your seat. Line, whenever you're ready. Go ahead, please. And we will have one more panelist who's coming from the airport, so it will be a little late. So hopefully you can catch the tail end of it and also contribute as well. So we'll have enough people here currently. I can play that in the background, I guess, if you want to catch something in it.
Yes, me too. I thought I could bring my name tag this time.
Okay. Anyone would like to start by saying something? I mean, we have something in the background running, and then we're going to gather their, I guess, interests.
Okay.
Okay. Please introduce yourself first. I guess you're
Okay.
new to many of the people here.
Yeah, my name is Suyong Lee, and you may not remember my name easily, so I just say Su is in Chinese characters is life, Young is forever. That means my life is forever.
I like your name.
Thank you. So I'm a professor at KAIST, Korea Advanced Institute of Science and Technology, and I'm still reading several groups there. One of them is Brain Science Research Center. The other one is Institute for Artificial Intelligence. So you try to combine both the cognitive neuroscience and information technology for the AI. So since Jonathan talked about the AlphaGo, I think I need to talk a little bit about what's happening at the AlphaGo. Actually, I really appreciate Google DeepMind to come to Korea with AlphaGo and defeated Sedo Lee, one of the top Go players around the world. He's not the top at this moment, but he used to be on the world top for a long time. And so he's regarded as one of the top things. But on the other hand, I also think Google DeepMind guys are so cunning because they deceive every people. Think AI defeated human intelligence. But for me, it's not actually true because some of you know how the Go game plays. So the reason many people think Go game require intelligence is because only intelligent people play the Go game. But that's actually, if you look at it, the simple game actually. So if you put your stone in 19 by 19 square in an alternating manner, then actually the easiest way is to consider all the possible game scenario. And then which one wins. If you know that kind of data, at any position, you can easily select the best position for it. But the problem is, there's two huge cases. So for example, at the first stone, you need to be put on 1 out of 361 position. Because 19 by 19 is 361. So the choice to put your first stone is 361 possibilities. After that, your opponent has 360 possibilities. Then you have 359 possibilities. Go on. So if you go on that way, all the possible number of games is 361 factorial. Try to calculate 361 factorial on your computer. Computer will say, I cannot do that. They say NA. Because the number becomes too big. Even 100 factorial. Probably some of your computer will give you a number for the 100 factorial. But 361 factorial, much bigger number than 100 factorial. It means human cannot look for all the possible game scenarios. So that means it's kind of decision without complete information. So you need to solve, how many steps can you remember? When you play games, Go games or whatever games, how many forward steps can you remember to simulate which move is good and which one is bad? I think almost all of you cannot predict more than 50 steps.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Even 30 steps. Or 10 steps?
4 or 5.
4 or 5. Yeah. So that means after then, we rely on some of the pattern recognition. If black pattern is like this and white pattern is this, it's likely this position will win. The kind of pattern recognition problem, or we call it intuition. But intuition for me is basically pattern recognition. So human Go players utilize a lot of intuition or pre-trained pattern recognition problem from previous histories. How about AlphaGo? AlphaGo last year utilized more than 1,000 computers and 1,000 GPUs. Like now the later version, AlphaZero, they use special chips. So their computing power and also their huge memory. So that means they can practice, they can simulate the all possible future practice and then see which one turn out to be good or bad. But even that, they cannot simulate everything. So they still cut up to 100 or 150, and then they utilize the pattern recognition problem again. So for me, AlphaGo win against human by combining the advantage of human brain and advantage of computer. So it's natural then. If they cannot defeat human, they are not doing good job. If you combine advantage of both sides, it's natural you can win against the other guy. But still, I think they did a really good job, and I really appreciate them to bring the second renaissance of artificial intelligence these days. I'm actually one of the beneficiaries from their games. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. If you have written something, maybe smile, but can you walk around to see if there have been any questions? You can gather them, please. Okay, next. Joanna?
Yeah, so the mic was passed to me, so I guess I can talk. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Gerard Samaributtu. I think my first name should not be hard for you to remember. If you are soccer fans, and if you know Steven Gerrard, that's the name.
That's the name, okay.
That's the name. So I think it shouldn't be too hard for you to remember my first name, Gerard. I'm originally from Sri Lanka, and that again, if you know Ceylon tea, I think you remember Sri Lanka, which is the newer name for Ceylon now. And I am working in Singapore with IBM for the last 7 years. One of my special area is artificial intelligence, where we work with customers in order to identify some of the interesting areas that they are interested and working on. So the topic, I guess, is open. So I just start a very interesting observation I found recently, that artificial intelligence is not new. It's been around for nearly 60 years. The term artificial intelligence, I understand, professors, you can correct me if I'm wrong here, I understand was coined by Professor John McCarthy approximately 50 odd years ago. So artificial intelligence is a field that has been around for many, many years. But recently, I see there is a lot of renewed interest. And that's where I think from the industry perspective, we have been kind of putting our heads together and trying our customers to help. And in my view, at least there are two important phenomena that is promoting artificial intelligence becoming very, very popular nowadays. There are two things I said. One of them is data. So data meaning there is an influx, enormous growth in data in the recent years. Now, just to give you a perspective, you're all university students, and I'm sure you are busy in social media, maybe Facebook, maybe Instagram, or maybe even LinkedIn, you're popular. So I'm a photographer, a hobby photographer. So I'm interested in taking pictures. So one of the statistics that was very, very interesting for me was around year 2005 or so, when Instagram was introduced, the amount of pictures that were posted in a year, in an entire year, you know, people all over the world, they post pictures, and that number is almost equivalent to people posting in 1 hour in Instagram. So that's an idea of how much of data that's growing. And you look at your phone, how many pictures do you take? And I just checked my phone, I have 5,096 pictures as of today morning. Was it possible 10 years ago? No, isn't it? So that is the amount of information growing, both structured as well as unstructured. So when I say structured, it's more like database. When I say unstructured, it's more like, you know, you're taking videos, you're taking pictures, posting photographs, and so on and so forth. It could be even sound clips. So that's one reason why there is renewed interest in artificial intelligence, the amount of growth in data. Why growth in data fueling AI? That's because you need a lot of data to train the system to be able to understand, to be able to reason, to be able to learn. So you need that. And the other reason why there is a renewed interest and focus in artificial intelligence recently, from my mind, is that there is new systems, new computers that are coming that are very, very powerful. The systems that are created nowadays are enormously powerful compared to the computers that were available maybe 50 years ago. And the invent of GPUs for commercial processing and CPUs have kind of fueled that growth, because now we are able to do a deep learning task that would take maybe months. Now we can complete in hours. So the weight is reduced. And that's where, from IBM side, we are in the forefront helping our customers, not just helping our customers, also spreading the news to university students like you, to be able to understand what is happening in the industry side, so that you can prepare your studies well, and once you finish your university, you immediately get a job. So one of my goals is that I help you to be able to focus yourself not just on your academic side, but also understand what's going on in the industry. How can I, position myself like, AlphaGo's right position, so that you can find the right job as soon as you finish your university. Maybe you are doing your bachelor's degree, your master's, your PhD, I don't know what areas that you are in. But one thing I know is that you're all interested in deep learning and the recent development that's happening in artificial intelligence. So I hope this panel discussion of what we are sharing from the different perspectives, from different countries in fact, would be helpful to you in fueling your career, so that as soon as you finish, the job is waiting for you. Maybe not one job, maybe 5 jobs waiting for you. Wouldn't that be nice? Thank you.
Okay, so test for you. How many nationalities are standing up here? Any idea? So we have New Zealander, Kiwi, Korean, well, now based in Singapore. How about over there? He's going to introduce himself next. Any guest?
Give you a clue right here.
Malaysia, okay. And I'm based in Thailand, but grew up in Canada, so everywhere, right? It's global, very global.
It's global.
So next I'm going to switch over.
Stand up. Thanks, Jonathan. Okay, as you see later on, my name is Wendy Lai. As I said before, I'm a regular visitor to this country. Actually, I'm here on holiday, but Jonathan kindly invited me. Why not come over, visit your beautiful campus? First time here, although I'm here, I've been working in AI since my postgraduate days, I think for almost 10 years now. But mine is more of a... So, I'm based in the university in Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur. It's a new university called Tunku Abdul Rahman University College. And my work has always been in the field of application of AI. So I actually cut across different applications. But before I joined this university, I was the researcher, director for the research lab in the Malaysian government. So it's a national research lab for almost about 15 years. So I'm more focused on the use of AI in helping society. So that's why I changed the title a bit. So maybe it's a different perspective, a different viewpoint of the focus of AI. Okay, now this is excellent. Why do I say that? Just a couple of days ago, if you notice here, today is the first of Thursday, 2 days ago, there was a news article in the Malaysian news daily that talks about Alibaba. I think you all know Alibaba, what is Alibaba? Talk about setting up a traffic control system harnessing using AI for to actually ease the congestion. I think Malaysia also have a big problem in terms of traffic congestion, just like Bangkok. So it is apparently the first such service outside of China as Alibaba pushes to grow its cloud computing business. Now the Alibaba Cloud, which is the cloud computing arm of Alibaba Group, say that it plans to make the live traffic prediction. Live that is not old data, it's actually real time. Live traffic predictions and recommendations. So you can say avoid certain paths, right? While you're driving, so you can go back home and have a good rest for some on the road. And it will increase traffic efficiency by how we do it, which is crunching data gathered from video, traffic flows, public transportation system, and mapping apps. I think those are the main key areas, right? So, so again, I won't underline that. And so come to that. So my introduction for this panel discussion basically just consists of 4 major points focusing on this. Now, let's start with the first one. I think as the previous speaker talked about, the age of consumerism and implications. Now, what do you mean by consumerism? That means that people like you and I want to buy things. But how do you buy things? We buy things, we want better things, faster PC, faster handphone, more accurate products, cheaper of course. Everyone wants a cheap product. I don't understand so much as well. The second thing is also from the point of view of the manufacturers who then hire people like you and graduate. They want to penetrate, go to new markets, right? So therefore, it pushes, right? Jobs, pushes better products to compete. And of course, there's also the part about competition among different manufacturers. Again, as I told my students, the company hires you not because they like you, because they want you to do a certain job, which is to make their product better, of course, cheaper as well. Right? And of course, in my talk, actually I will talk tomorrow afternoon, at the same time, we talk about using AI or computational intelligence, which is the theme of this workshop, on there is less human intervention because the artificial systems can work long hours without any complaint. They won't ask for overtime, they won't ask for medical leave or sick leave, right? Things like that. So there's also less human intervention. And of course, the other side is as you maybe realize, in the other side of the coin, AI actually is pushing out some of the jobs, simpler jobs that machine can do, right? So maybe in the old days, 10 person needs to last year, September, myself and some of my students visited the Motorola Center in Penang, which is the south of the Thailand border. And then we talked about, they showed us the manufacturing facility where there are no lights, right? The machines running, narrow aisle where machines can go, right? So in that sense, you have less workers and you also save on energy. I do not need to have the lights because machines don't need lights to work, right? So that's one of the implications of the age of consumerism driven by better, faster, cheaper products to sell to the consumers that you and me. The second point of it is, one example earlier on, right, what I showed you, the Alibaba Cloud talks about using AI to manage traffic. So, I think a couple of years ago we talked about the Alibaba, in a sense, new application, but you can see more and more coming. There will be more and more new applications emerging, especially with regards to large brain-like structures. That means that you use such systems to solve difficult problems, not simple problems, right? That I think Suya talked about how many steps can you remember in terms of if you take AlphaGo, right? Can you remember 50, 40, right? Things like that. So again, such AI or CI, computational intelligence, will tackle some of these problems with regard to such new systems. Third point, again, Gerald talked about before. Now we have compute power, which is yet cheap but powerful. And coupled with the powerful sensors are some of the key drivers, some of the main things that push the application of AI, right, into daily life. Last time I think many of us work in the labs looking at researching into AI. For example, Professor Nick talked about this morning, the cycling neurons, I think working with his team of students to push the theoretical foundations, frontiers of new AI. Right? So, but again, in my first slide, or second slide, I'll talk about the traffic management. Can you remember what we talked about? The data comes from different sensors, right? Real life video, data from other things, maybe even sound or whatever. It can also come from Facebook. What's the other one? Popular one we use. I'm not sure you use it here, but in Malaysia we use Waze, right? Waze will tell you that certain roads are congested and it's a sharing, right? Those data can be extracted and fed into a system, intelligent system to manage traffic better, right? But the main thing is what? Now you need to integrate different signal modalities, video, text, right? And even other forms, right? And it can be a major challenge. So don't assume that it's just straightforward using of powerful AI algorithms. You need to also look at the integration issues from different modalities. Now, as a result of that, computational intelligence or AI is only the final part of the number crunching process, but maybe not true. Because you can also apply AI in things like, in my area of work, image segmentation, right? Thresholding of images, those are areas you can also apply AI. And of course, the other implication we sort of see there, which is when you work with such big chunks of data. Again, the example of Alibaba, the companies will then work with bigger corporations, governments, rather than small companies. Is that a trend for the future? That means that if you want to solve the traffic problem, it's difficult, but you do work with small companies, you work with governments, right? Because government has control over different sets of data, right? So again, that could be another fact in the foreseeable future. What's the last one? Not all applications may need such deep learning, very huge systems, right? So do we really attempt to get? Depends. So not all applications will require such heavy computational power. Some will be quite simple, as I'll show tomorrow in my lecture. Talk about simple AI methods to solve some real-world industry applications. So again, it all depends on the industry, what industry problems they're trying to solve, and the resources that that company or sector receives available resources. Because if you have a small company who doesn't have resources to say have 1,000 or 1 million different GPUs, right? It won't work. So I think, let's see. Thank you. That will be my opening thoughts for you to think about. On the, of course, if you have questions for me or my fellow panelists, please feel free. Thank you.
Anybody have questions or topics they're interested in again? Please come around and just walk around please and see if anybody has anything. So Nick, you want to talk now or do you want me to show something?
Yeah, I can. Actually, stay.
I'm going to start with a question to the audience. Do you think that the system that plays AlphaGo belongs to the area of artificial intelligence? It was explained very well by Professor Sriarthi. I will further this question. Does the computer know what it is doing? No. Can the computer learn new games? No. Does the computer follow exact step by step using 1,000 computers to define if you are here, you move here? Is that intelligence? To make this not, but I would like to challenge the audience to comment on that. And the further question is, does it do any good for the humanity? Does it predict earthquakes and tsunamis? Does it predict Alzheimer's disease? Does it save lives? No. It's useless. Do we need systems like this? My view is no. What we need is real artificial intelligence systems that can learn different things. They learn different things by communicating with humans, observing with humans, learning new knowledge, learning new data, new things, and also be able to extract the essence, the principles. How did they learn that? What they tell us, how we should play better. So that is a real cognition. This is a real intelligence. There is no intelligence without learning new stuff. There is no intelligence without extracting the essence of things. There is no new intelligence without adapting. There is no intelligence without communicating with humans and with other systems. And that is my challenge to you. You don't have to agree with me if I say the system that plays AlphaGo is not an intelligent system. You don't have to agree with me. You can have your own. But I want actually to appeal to you to develop systems that are really intelligent, that can really solve important problems, that can really help the humanity.
Okay, I do have some questions coming in now, so I'll just ask the panelists. First question is, what is the challenge today to apply AI to industry and to commercial purposes?
Okay.
Anyone?
I'll give you an example. Okay, for you, Gerald, you want to share your thoughts?
So what is the challenge? Actually, I'm covering that as part of my presentation too, but I will start now, and maybe when my presentation session comes, I will ask you as questions, have you understood the challenges? And maybe you can answer me, or maybe you can tell me more challenges. So at IBM, we started to work in this area of artificial intelligence very particularly around 2009, 2010, when we designed a computer to play chess against, and it was called Blue Mind or Deep Blue. Yes, thank you, Professor Deep. So Deep Blue was the name. So I was not even working for IBM at that time. That's when we started it. And since then, we have taken many steps, and now we are working towards bringing AI and deep learning and that type of technologies to our own clients, our own customers. So last year, I worked with many customers across the ASEAN region. So there were lots of customers. And during that time, I found out there were challenges for our clients. And I want to summarize them into three particular areas, three major challenges. Now the first challenge I found, this is just my experience. You may have other experiences, and the professors may have other experience, and they can share theirs too. First challenge that I find is data. Now this may actually surprise you and shock you. Data is a challenge. How can it be? There's so much of data around. How can data be a challenge? Now the challenge that we found in IBM is when a customer comes to us and say, okay, I want to find out in a construction work site, I want to implement and infuse artificial intelligence, maybe around people who are not wearing helmets, people who are not wearing safety vests. And I want to use intelligence to be able to monitor and tell, okay, that person who is coming here is not wearing helmet. Now current technology that is available is hundreds of video cameras everywhere, and somebody has to go through the monitor and check. Or maybe there are some programs that can analyze and tell you. So when we went to customers and wanted to actually do a proof of concept of this, now customers did not have the right data in order to solve that particular problem. So data is everywhere, don't get me wrong, and data is growing, but you have to have the right data in order to solve the problem. And the problem that we find is nowadays customers do not have the right data. Now the second problem that I found is domain expertise. Now the expertise in this area of artificial intelligence and professions like data scientists or data engineer, data analysts, these are very popular professions. They are hot jobs, they would call it. So those who are actually looking for jobs or about to start your industry career or going to working, please take note of this. These words, data scientist, data analyst, data engineer, and these are very popular jobs. Now, domain expertise is very limited. To find a good data scientist in specializing in area is very hard. And I'm sure Khun Surajay also will agree with me because he's from IBM and we work together. He's based in Thailand and he will also agree. So one of the key challenges around ASEAN at least is that finding domain expertise, the right experts, is a major challenge. So I hope Professor Nippon and your team will produce more and more who can help with the artificial intelligence field. And at least from here I would like to see many more coming into this field of artificial intelligence. So I told about data as a challenge. So when I say data as a challenge, the right data to be able to solve a particular case. Then the other challenge that I found is domain expertise. Now the third challenge I found in the, at least from an industry perspective, from our clients, is that dedication. Now clients do not want to spend enough time and effort to solve the problem around artificial intelligence. They have so many other priorities, not just working on this artificial intelligence. They are probably also into cloud computing. They are also probably into security. Recently there have been so many security incidents. And I'm sure you have heard of Meltdown and Spectre, one of the incidents that recently really shocked the industry. So there are so many other priorities for customers. So therefore, mixed with, not able to find the right data, not able to find the right skills or domain expertise, they are also not able to spend enough time to solve the problem. They don't sometimes have patience to work in this field and to see through it to be able to solve the problem. So in my mind, if I may quickly summarize, I think there are three challenges from an industry perspective, my personal view: data, domain expertise, dedication. These three D words are missing, at least as I see it now. And these three, I'm pretty sure, can be addressed by the academic community, like those who are studying here, and those who are going into the industry, those who want to find the jobs. If you can centralize your ideas around these areas, then I think you are likely to have a very good, bright future also, because you'll find job quickly.
Okay. Can I add a little bit more? Because you also mentioned what kind of problem AI can contribute. So you focus on three different problem solvers. I'm trying to say what kind of industry AI and these three different problems can contribute. So last year, we reinitiated Institute for AI at KAIST, and then I sent emails to all the KAIST professors. KAIST is basically Science and Engineering University. We have around 600 professors. So I sent email to all the 600 professors, say, if you are interested in AI, one collaboration, then contact me. So out of 600 or 700 faculty members, I have right now 66 professors joined to my Institute for AI. And then 66 is about 10% of all the science and engineering faculties interested in AI. And if I look at their department, we have 18 science and engineering department at KAIST, and no single department does not have any professor interest. That means all the departments interested in AI. That including obviously mechanical, industrial engineering, that's natural thing. But we also have civil and architectural engineering. They are also interested in engineering, and even business. They are also interested in engineering. And we don't have the agriculture, but I know there are so many people from agriculture are contacting to us for collaboration. The reason we say that way is AI is not an industry-specific technology. It is an enabler of all kinds of technology where people contribute a lot. So basically AI tries to substitute some part of the job currently only done by people. So whenever industries where people is working on right now can be a good application for AI. So my book was basically, if there is a job done by two people, we like to reduce the number of people to one, and we add AI. So one AI and one human being work the same job as currently done by two people, any industry. Of course, to do that, we need to utilize the domain knowledge, we need to utilize the data, we need to have some efficiency, how we can get the result quickly and as reliably. Everything is done, but the only thing I say is AI is the enabler for every industry.
I would like to talk a little bit about outside of the science, but more in us as a community. Let me say that Asia is considered to be the biggest beneficiary of AI in the future. And that is China, and this is Japan, India, Thailand, and all these countries will develop artificial intelligence and robotics for sure in the future. we need to be better organized in this respect. We need to have our community involved in the activities. So in Asia Pacific there is the so-called Asia Pacific Neural Network Society. Asia Pacific Neural Network Society has been here since 1993, for 24 years. Now is the time for us to unite all young people and experienced people in this very exciting area. And I'm happy to say that so far so good, but we need to do better. And we have here the past president of the Asia Pacific Neural Network Society, Professor Suyang Lee. You have here the president-elect of the society, to become president next year. So I'm thinking how we can unite this community together. And my suggestion is that we would like to have all of you on an email list, and APNA, the society, is going to distribute newsletters. These newsletters are going to show the latest developments of AI, neural networks worldwide, and jobs available for this area everywhere in Asia Pacific. I think people need to know what is happening and what jobs are there. So I think we would like to have you a member of this society. So we'd like to have your name and your email address, and we will talk. As a president, I can promise that we would like to include you in all activities that happen in Asia Pacific. Rather than we stay here, we say goodbye, and nothing happens. No. We'd like to keep you involved, we'd like to enlarge our community, enlarge the community both in terms of academic, in terms of IBM and big companies' involvement and work with them, in terms of all countries involved across the region. That is our plan, and you will be part of that. So if you want to do that, I think Jonathan can probably provide the list of email addresses, the names, you leave your name, email address, we would like to contact you soon. And you become part
We
of
do have
the
your contact, so we will contact you and encourage you to participate in different activities.
And we would like you to feel that this society is your home. You can find more information there, you can contact people there, the leading researchers there, you can contact leading companies there. That's your home. And that is what we want to do for the whole Asia Pacific area, everybody who works in this area, artificial networks, artificial intelligence, and applications. Well, that's my message. Thank you.
Okay. I think that's actually a very good question, because a lot of people will try to respond to this about challenges. Maybe I'll add mine as well, about specifically to the industry, and then leading to my point, I guess. So recently, I guess most of you are aware of the CES, used to be called Consumer Electronics Show, in the US, in Las Vegas in January. So one of the biggest things that took over that show this year is, so you can see here, self-driving cars. So that's basically, I mean, you all have to experience with self-driving cars to some extent, right? Because when we are driving, we probably do not fully drive. We do so many other things. You would check your phone messages, you call people, you eat, you drink, you talk to the person beside you. Let me ask you, how many of you actually, when you drive, only drive and look at the road? Anybody? You're supposed to, right? We don't do that. So we're all doing some self-driving. We just take our eyes off the road, and perhaps not knowingly, but you have to car drive yourself, more or less. So of course, this technology is very, very trendy right now. It's because of AI rapid improvement. So the high-tech is playing a big role in this area. So you can see that companies such as, including Intel, NVIDIA, And Amazon really gets into it. So if you look at this, you recognize anybody here? Very fine friends. That's Intel Senior Vice President, also CTO. So basically, most of people are saying self-driving cars are coming in 2021. That's probably the earliest time. Now, to me, one of the big challenges, which I'll go into one, I'm sure some will bring up as well, is the ethical issue. Ethical issue, simply for industry. So, I mean, who's going to be responsible, right? If a self-driving car, which has happened already, get in the accident, who's going to be responsible? The driver, the car manufacturer, the government, the pedestrian? I mean, who are you going to go after? I mean, that's just the tip of the iceberg. There are a lot of issues involved, from my perspective, I guess someone else wants to expand on this, on basically ethical issue. I think is a huge challenge, which is out of holding back AI. That's, so as you can see from here, so Amazon, Intel, NVIDIA, even Cisco, and this is the Apple version. Apple version has invaded North America. If you go to North America, which many of you might not have been there yet, the in-car systems are more or less Apple. Use the cars here. How many? Okay, some of you can probably for sure. How many of you drive a BMW? The later series. Anyone? Anybody want to admit to drive a BMW? 5 Series maybe? Very aggressive sales right now. One of the things you see in the car, we actually were lucky also, colleagues of ours, he actually works for BMW. He's working on autonomous cars. And actually at being Bitcoin Hill, he knows him from University of Toronto. So Elvin Chin, he was better in conferences than he was in Toronto before. He actually designed systems for cars, in-car systems. So in AI, the challenges right now is basically trying to predict behavior. So we want to know about who actually I talked to them, and I'm sure you as well. We're interested in emotion, sentiment, and chatbot, which is actually good for my students, actually not the other reason. So there are a lot of things, it's behavior of people we won't be able to detect and understand and so on. So for the industry, that's the opportunity. For us, it's like we need to tell them what we want. Okay? So I don't want to go through this further because we don't have too much time, but I will go around and ask you, what do you want from AI? Do you want something for your, I think we have 4 other questions that some of them can say for maybe this session on Saturday. This is a big learning question. This is another question. Okay, just go and think about it for now. There's also on, what are your thoughts on AI and stock market? So, I mean, that's another thing. So some of you are very interested in the stock market, and some of you are interested very much in Bitcoin, which is going to the stock market now in the future. So, I'll quickly go around, and if you want to respond, please respond. I'll just see if anybody wants to see what kind of AI challenges you are interested in. Anyone? Okay, maybe anything to add? Right? Anyone want to talk about AI in stocks?
Well, so the question is, can you repeat the question here?
For the stock market?
For the stock market.
Yeah, let's get your thoughts. AI in stock market.
Well, AI in stock market is a big problem. It's a big problem for the stock market. Because let me say that automated trading systems are being created by hundreds every day. So the stock market, probably in 5 years' time, is going to be a stock market of robots. These automated trading systems are robots. They do the trading, And they will actually, that will be overwhelming for humans to have investments and to invest in any development. So stock market probably needs to change its rules, etc. So this is why I say that it is a big question, and a big problem for the stock market, not for the AI, because there will be many automated trading systems. I was part of our development. I should say 50 more. But it is, and it's not only the stock market. Many things, many jobs, many activities will need to change because of the active involvement of artificial intelligence. They will change our practice, whether it is for better or not, we still don't know, but definitely there will be a big change in many activities, including the stock market. That is what I can answer.
Okay. I have 3 talks from tomorrow that will cover some of the issues, how the AI and brain, and how we can have chatbot, how we can have emotional thing inside. But you mentioned another important part, the ethics of AI. Actually, that is another one of the, in my big project going on. So but whenever I say something there are also some people agree, the other people don't agree. It's divided into 2 parts. But I just say, several years ago, the Tesla with automatic driving mode hit the truck and the driver got killed, right? So another issue you may have is the Microsoft Tay or chatbot has been removed from their services within the first day of their services because there are other bad guys trying to teach bad word to the conversational agent. So also, there are many, the famous guy, brilliant famous guy, they give us a warning on the Skynet or Terminator will come in the future. So that's related to the SQL issues, but for me is robot or artificial intelligence is as dangerous as human. If human is dangerous, AI is dangerous. But if human is not dangerous, AI is not dangerous. Why? Because AI will learn from their friends or their owner or etc. For example, even the self-driving car. The self-driving car are supposed to drive the same style as the owner, right? Otherwise, the owner will not let the autonomous driver will drive. The reason we give AI to drive my car, at least for me, in the future, is the self-autonomous driver, AI, will drive my car the way as I drive my car. So if that come up with some accident, who is responsible for that? I am responsible for that. Because my autonomous driver just follow me the way as I did. Also, if I treat my AI as my friend or relatives, they will treat me as a friend or relative the same way. But if I treat them as a slave, then they try to kill us. So then the same thing is, I don't know, you haven't gotten married, many of you, but when you get married, you will have children. But we all know children will not follow their parents' opinion, right? But just because that we don't have, we should, even in that situation, we still have children and raise them. The same way, we will have AI, even though AI may or may not agree upon the human. The only thing left is how human interact with the AI to come up with the same thing and also teach the moral of the human society. That's the thing we are trying to do in the ethics of AI.
So we should do, someone should teach AI ethics.
Right.
The right person, if possible. Actually, let me just add a little bit to the question about AI in the stock market. Anyone see this movie, The Big Short? You know what that is about? Okay, some have seen it. So basically, in this movie, it talks about, it's based on actually real life situation. What happened was there was a huge stock market crash triggered by an algorithm. It's caused by an algorithm. So AI is very dangerous, as Nick was mentioning, in the sense that we have to be able to detect. I mean, right now they're building a lot of safe factors into how to control the stock market, for example. But in that case, it was simply, it could have been simply, it's one of the detective, actually not South Korea, he could have been from South Korea, but he's actually in the US. He was just doing something and then they realized this is an algorithm guy doing this, make a slight adjustment, and then it just like, the whole stock market just crashed. Basically, a lot of people lost a lot of money. They call it a big short because shorting means you predict the price will go down or go up. Basically, you bet on that. It's like almost a gamble. So similar to Bitcoin, it fluctuates so much, so that's why I guess Asian enjoys Bitcoin. But it's something that you can make a lot of money and potentially it's also a problem. Okay, anybody else on AI in the stock market? Anybody in the audience want to talk about AI in the stock market? Any experience to share? Do you use AI algorithms? Because I have students who will train algorithms, for example, to profile AI. And then there are competitions, obviously, with stock exchange markets, actually. They allow high school students to go to the stock market, and they give them, not real money, but basically money. They would trade real stocks, and see if they actually make money. And actually, the young students, many of them are able to make money. But it's almost like teaching people to play poker. Do you play poker? If you teach it to young people, be careful. Don't play with young people. If they know the game poker, you will lose.
Yeah, actually many stockbroking companies, they are utilizing advisor, robo-advisor, or even automatic trading AI system already. That has been there for a long time already. I don't think they will disappear.
Yes, no. Okay, we have another question here. Someone mentioned he or she is new in the AI field, but wanted to know, I guess, the effect of basically AI, many people treat it as a black box. And even in deep learning, it's not as much of a black box, but a lot of it's still a black box. So basically, what can we do about this problem? I mean, is it useful? Learning more about it, about the, for example, CNN is supposed to be able to decompose convolution, gives you different, like mentioning different parts, understanding of different aspects about the problem. And that really requires, as Joel was saying earlier, is the data. If you don't have good data, obviously you're not able to build proper models. And the other thing is, if you don't have good, we'll talk about more of this on Saturday as well in the deep learning workshop. If you do not have a good domain expert or a good understanding of the data, your model could be predicting disaster, just like AI in the stock market. So this is why the newest development, for example, in deep learning is combining just black box, actually with domain expert knowledge, building in form of a network. So some of you might have heard of one of the latest works called a capsule network. So this is the paper just published by Professor Jeffrey Hinton at the University of Toronto, at the Vector Institute as well. So it's one of the hotbeds in Toronto. So this is good. Currently we have 2 students there, exchange students from our university at the University of Toronto. And they were attending a talk by Professor Jeffrey Hinton just a couple of days ago. And it was organized by Chinese Student Association. They organized that, and they invited Professor Hinton to give a talk. He gladly obliged and gave a very stimulating talk. So, speak up. If things you want to know, let us know. Let the Asia Pacific Neural Society know. We'll get speakers. We'll tell you what you need to know, or try to help you to learn more and give you directions and so on and so forth. And of course, go to the industry. Tell them what we want. Influence them. Okay, feedback about black box, complex problems, and
If I may add something to that, I think this morning, or some of us here, you remember Professor Nick's talk about the human intelligence and then AI. And also tie back to Professor Jonathan's point about I have students actually who doesn't really understand the inner workings of the CNN, for example. It's throw data in and expect the data to run, or the system to run myself. So I think, again, we talk about this point. There's a real danger that there will be new AI researchers, scientists, who just assume that AI is a black box. I throw the data, it should by magic give me some outputs. I think, again, for my own personal opinion, I think it doesn't really work that way. You need to understand the system quite well to see what it's doing, and then you intelligently interpret the results. That's one point. Second point of that is adding on to Jonathan's point. I sense and observe that AI actually is an interesting area of research for one major thing. You cannot work alone if you want to use it for some interesting applications. It's all about collaboration, either with the domain expert or with someone else, right? So in that sense, it's not a lonely area. It's actually an area where you need to collaborate. And I think, again, coming back to Jonathan's point, one good platform for you to leverage, for you to learn things faster is actually the Asia Pacific Neural Society, APNS. Of course, there are others, but again, within the Asian region, I think APNS will give you a good platform for you to quickly learn. Okay? And also for you to collaborate. Because you cannot work alone. We have seen it through the years. If you want to solve some interesting real-world problems, you need to work with the domain expert. I think that's my 2 cents.
I would also add that the term deep learning doesn't mean that you have many layers, one after another, and we call this deep. Well, deep learning means learning deep patterns from the data. And not only learning deep patterns from the data, but understanding what are these deep patterns that are learned from the data. Because these many layers, they collect different pieces of information from the data to put it together, but we don't want any more black boxes. I think that the time of black boxes has passed. We have to understand what are these deep patterns that are learned from the data. And that is what I call deep learning indeed. Not just many neurons and the many layers that you don't know what they are doing. Of course, they don't know what they are doing. They are not intelligent. But they learn patterns and we have to understand these deep patterns. That is what deep learning means.
okay, one final question, then we need to close because I guess we should follow the schedule. There's a very good question from industry, it seems like. How university and professor, I guess that's us, some of us, can help the industry? How university researchers, professors can help the industry? Please.
Maybe I should take this first.
Yeah.
Oh, you want? Okay, fine.
Oh, no, you were standing.
Okay. So that's a great question, and I think I like it. And one of the reasons why I enjoy such forums and discussions is because, in my view, and I also was talking to Kun Sirichai, and he said in his view also, we want to bring to you some of the challenges faced, some of the things that are happening, so that there will be a good collaboration between the two, and this collaboration is very, very, very important, I would say. I'll also cite some examples for this. Recently, actually, we were looking at a particular use case, and as I said earlier, there is a lot of challenge in finding the rightly skilled people for solving problems. And there are so many problems that we are trying to solve. And I think Professor Lee nicely put it, artificial intelligence should be looked at as an enabler. You know, there are so many industries that are benefiting from it, from sugar crops to firefighting to helping to manage the transmission power lines, to even in the movie industry, creating a highlighting clip, video clip, for marketing purposes. There are so many areas that are being benefited. But in order for us to forge ahead, what is important is collaboration. Is this collaboration of what is happening in the academia, especially in the research area, and to be able to make use of your talents to bring it to the masses. That collaboration is key. And I'm also covering that part later on in my presentation, because in my mind, this is very, very critical. Because of the skill shortage that we are facing in the industry, where can it come from? It can come from people like you, who are interested to study, who are interested to learn, who are interested to go forward into this profession. And we are also finding shortage for finding the right set of data. And where can it come from? You people who are smart, giving certain ideas in order to solve the problem. So, in my mind, as I look at the discussion today, the forum today, I found that we dealt with so many different areas, including ethics in artificial intelligence, challenges faced by artificial intelligence, looking at the different industry domains. We looked at stock markets and so on. Now, if you can pick up at least 3 areas here and go deeper into this and find solutions or ideas to problems and be innovative and creative with your problems, and maybe write a paper or contact industry. And today I'm here, Kun Sirichai is here. You want to connect with us in order, maybe with some of your ideas. And together, I think that collaboration will forge ahead in order to solve problems. And as you can see, in my mind, we are scratching the surface of AI. And there are even talks of some of the algorithms may have to be redone, rewritten, modified, because we are just scratching the surface of AI. So there is huge potential in here. The collaboration is key. I think the word collaboration was used by Professor Lai also earlier. It is absolutely key for us. We can't solve these problems that are emerging complex problems alone. No way we can solve this. It is not even just in the industry, it's not just the academia. That collaboration is key.
Okay, I also had tried to help Korean government to let the industry and academia come together and get benefit from each other. Then the suggestion I had is we may need 2 different roles in academia. Also, that's required for the industry. The one group of the risk engineer need to develop new algorithm, new architecture, new running algorithm that may be applied to many different applications. New ideas, new learning rules, new architecture. That's for, I think, for the graduate program. But the other side, we try to teach AI from undergraduate from this day. So we didn't have that much, like I think I had one senior course for the AI at KAIST for undergraduate. But from this year, KAIST president tried to put 3 different sophomore or freshman or sophomore courses for the undergraduate. So the purpose of that is that now the AI toolbox like TensorFlow, the Torch, there are many toolboxes available that can be utilized by the undergraduate student. It's like a computer language. You know, there are computer languages, the very low level computer language like the assembler, etc. But nobody, I'm not saying nobody, only a few people working on assembly language these days. Every student going on the relatively high language, C++ or the MATLAB or Python, etc. About the high-level language of Python, I think we have super high-level language for AI. There may be TensorFlow or Torch or Kafka. So you don't need to look at detail, but if you understand the general framework, how you can utilize AI to your own specific industry or specific problem, you can do programming in very high-level language. That can be taught at undergraduate level. So 2 different directions I think we need to go on, and that's enough. I don't think you have solved all the problem within 10 years. So there are enough problems, all different problems, all different industries that can replace some portion of the human effort by the AI. Therefore, don't worry about you will lose your job if you work on AI in the research phase or the utilization, either way.
Well, I will finish. I have quite a lot today. I have to exist. But go to this website and go to the membership and become a member. Let me say that is what we want. We want to build a community, and we will start receiving newsletters that will have the latest development of AI and neural networks in the Asia Pacific area, and also the opening jobs in this. So I should say you will be very welcome to join ADLS.
And we want to go a little behind schedule, but let me just put in my 2 cents about the question about how university professors can help the industry by putting focus back on the industry. In particular, in this case, since our sponsor here is IBM. To me, IBM is supposed to be a global company. Global as in everything is globalized, not regional, in the sense that Thailand, no research. New Zealand, no research. It's global. Please do support research in Thailand and New Zealand and other places because we're very global. How you can help us basically. And I'm sure they'll be great for students because the students here, or the young researchers, are very much interested in doing research and taking AI to the next level. So, I mean, we have technical professional associations going to help. We have a lot of work experience, a lot of young researchers, experienced professors who's going to help. So, industry please also play a part. Those of you who come to the industry, some of you are from smaller companies, but basically, yeah, collaboration is the key. Thank you very much. Now, before, I know, sorry to cut into the IBM session, please come up here and take a little picture very quickly. Before you just grab your water and so on. Let's come up here. just stand. We're trying, I guess, somehow just form a. We'll make this work. I'm not sure how yet. Please come up. Maybe we can, some of you can go up and down is okay. Your chance to go up on the stage. Also go up on the stage, please. Just phone to.
And we all may go down. They all come up.
Either way, we may go down, they will come out. Either way. It looks like they won't go up.
No, come here, come here, come here.
It's a good job to promote APNS. Maybe we move forward. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, only beautiful girl and boys sit on here.
Yeah. You okay? Good.
เอกยืนบนเก้าอี้เลยก็ได้ยืนบนเก้าอี้ก็ได้
Anybody want to use the camera? You can help. Okay,
All right, thank you.
Very quick break, and then we'll be back. Sorry.
Another idea.
Sometimes I'm not sure when.